So today I'm going to be changing my ignition coil. It is that thing all the way in there, that box. And I'm going to be changing it with, replacing it with this new one I got from Rock Auto for about 10 bucks. So the reason why I'm changing it is because I did a spark test on it and the sparks came out orange, or the spark from the spark plug came out orange. And from what I've read, that's a weak spark. So even if that's not true, I still need to change it anyways because it's 27 years old. Like mostly everything else in here besides, you know, the wires and the other things I've shown you. And the alternator. So it's going to be real fun getting this out because it's all the way down there. I think it takes a 10mm bolt, but I'm not sure. I'll have to experiment with that. So yeah, the next clip you're gonna see here is the spark test that I did, because I did it yesterday. So yeah. Okay, I made a mistake. This isn't gonna work. You need a size 10 wrench to go in there because the space is so tight. There's nowhere for this to go in. So just a heads up. A ratcheting wrench would work best for this, but I don't have that. So kind of just gotta go slow with it. Now these right here may be a problem for this one because it's in the way, so I might have to loosen this one and move it, but I guess we'll see. Another thing you want to do whenever you're working with any electricity on a vehicle, especially the ignition coil, is to disconnect the battery. You do not want to get shocked because you will probably die. So just a heads up. So what my next dilemma is, I took off the coil wire and I disconnected it, and I got this bolt here free spinning, but that's because there's another bolt down there that spins as well. I don't know why you can see that, but I'm gonna have to get something back there, preferably another wrench, but we'll have to see. Okay, that's one bolt. The nut on the back fell onto the ground, so I'm gonna have to grab that. But what happened was this motor mount here, the screw got caught on it, so what you want to do is lift it a little bit. Not much, but just enough for this to clear. And then you'll get that out. This one's going to be just as fun. Definitely needed to be replaced. I finally got this out and I got both the nuts out and screws. But even if this was fine, it still need to be replaced anyways, which it's not fine because if you look, there's cracks in the coil. One there, right here, on the back almost all the way across, and there's a hole up here. So this definitely needed to be replaced. So we're going to put this in to make sure it looks the same. It does. So we're going to put this one back in, and that's going to be even worse because I have to have something to hold this bolt while I screw that one into it so it stays. Firstly, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to hook this together before I screw it all in, and I'm going to see how it sparks. So let's do that. So this may not be that good, but I have a spark plug, an old one, but it's still technically good. I'm going to hook it up to this distributor wire that goes straight to the distributor, and it will only spark this spark plug. So let me plug up the battery and we'll get that done. Now how I'm going to do that is I'm going to ground it straight to this air compressor, and I'm going to use this wire here that the previous owners put on here because the ignition switch was going out, which looks horrible, but it'll work for this. So let's see. Let me get it on. And that should be good enough right there. So either this thing's going to spark or it's going to explode. I didn't get good video. Okay, so I'm not getting any spark whatsoever now. And I'm gonna see if I can fix that. Okay, well, I made another mistake. The reason why I wasn't getting any spark is because I forgot I unplugged the distributor. And that's why I wasn't getting any spark. But if I start it now, let's see. If I start it now, it runs. Actually a lot better than it did, which would explain why, because there's cracks in the old ignition coil. So yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reset the computer, and I'm gonna reset the computer in the car and then run it and then let it configure. So yeah, I think that's all. I just got to screw it in, because right now it's just kind of hanging there. So I'm gonna disconnect the battery again, and I'm gonna screw it in. So let's see how that goes. Alright, it is now officially in. And that wasn't, I mean, that was pretty bad, but I wouldn't say it was as bad as this alternator. Now, maybe about a 30-minute to an hour job, depending on if you know what you're doing. So, yeah. Now, I'm going to keep this one as a spare, even though it is cracked and is not in the best shape. It still works. So, yeah, that's how you change your ignition coil. Well, it's not really a tutorial video, I'm just showing you how I did it. So, yeah, that's how I did it. Alright, see you in the next one.